भैया मुझे लाइक कैगल के बारे में थोड़ी इन्फॉर्मेशन चाहिए थी। हाउ यू स्टार्ट विद कैगल एंड लाइक कंपटीशन एंड ऑल दैट थिंग्स।
अच्छा. Um, uh, can I assume like कि Python की knowledge होगी सबको यहाँ पे?
या ओके सर।
Otherwise सर से ऊपर जाता है. Like I have to assume this. Can I share my screen here?
यस सर, देयर इज ऑप्शन फॉर दैट।
Mm, Okay, I think it's no. Is visible everyone? Is it visible to everybody here? Okay, one thing, like you have to interact, right? I don't like having sessions where
या इट्स
audience
विजिबल
is
सर।
silent.
ओके, इट्स विजिबल।
Okay, so just try to speak. Like if you have any doubt, just try to speak.
ओके
And
सर।
यहाँ कोई स्ट्रिक्ट भैया या सर आपके नहीं है, बोल सकते हो हिंदी.
ओके भैया, ठीक है।
And ठीक है. So see the way you can multiple ways you can start with Kaggle, right? There are some tiers they have like competitions, dataset, models, and code, right? What happens basically, see, I, if you are in your college, right? So I want कि आप college Kaggle को ऐसे use करो कि आपके career में help करे. And there are some tiers कि you are a noob, then you are a contributor, and then you are expert, and then you are master, then you are grandmaster. So each of these tiers, like competition, dataset, models, they have sorry, not models, competition, dataset, code, and discussion. These four, so all these four have these tiers. Like you can be in their novice or like expert, grandmaster, anything. If you open your profile, I think you will start with the novice. Not sure, maybe. And a very frankly, competition category is the hardest one. The reason it's the hardest one because you have to compete with the professionals here. Right. Right. That's why it's a bit harder side. Other are data set and code discussions. They are not that hard. I mean, what have do you have to just publish your data set? Any data set you made, just push it on their hub, and if people like to use it, they will upvote it. You can get medals. That's how it works. Similarly, goes for the code. You upload your Jupyter notebooks there. It can be any notebook, right? It doesn't have to be on some specific thing. It can be any notebook. So you can see people are putting random notebooks here. You can push your random notebooks there, and again, if the people like it, they will upvote it, and they upvote it. You get medals, and then your ranking will go ahead. These uh, these categories are fine, but if I talk about uh, the respect in machine learning field, so you have to keep this term when if you're working with in the machine learning, you have to keep this term of self-respect where that is. That is in the competition category because it's relatively very hard than other four ones. And these are the active companies that are going on right now. You can see that it's cost 2 months to go, some cash price, 2 months to go, to 16 days to go. You can participate in any one of them. Ideally, what I will suggest is participate, like it has had 2 months, right? You can see it says 2 months to go. So ideally, what you can do is you can just participate in the last month, even the last month, and you can see that what people are doing here in the course section. You can see what people are doing, and just this is one of the trick basically. Just filter from the public score. You will see what the best one is doing. So this she's a grandmaster. So this notebook, this solution is the best one right now. So you can easily load it, read it, what it is doing, and try to improve on top of it. It will again be hard. Like there will be some concept that you have no idea what's going on there, but that's a comparable, more easier way to start. If you are thinking, okay, I will start with the first month, and then I will go with the entire timeline, first, second, third months. There's a very high chance that you will get bored and you will just drop it off. It happens to me, and it's a very general case that happens because these competitions are pretty long. Some goes for 5 months. So if you're starting from scratch and you're not that, maybe you're not that interested, or maybe you're not a researcher, like any of these case, then you may lose your consistency and then drop it off. That will waste your time that you put in your earlier days of our one or whatever period. And yeah, so I will recommend start with the last 1 month. and see what people are doing. Right? That's a clever way to solve these competitions. And you are relatively new in this platform anyway, so you have to understand what is actually going on in this thing, what people are doing. And these people are really professional, so they use crazy tricks. And it's obvious to not get that trick in the first go. So you have to iterate on top of it again and again and again. Um, let's do one thing. Let's do one thing. What can we do here? Let's do one thing. Okay, let's try a competition. This one is going right now. I have no idea. Yeah, okay, let's see how to progress with it. Right. This is the AI Math Olympiad competition going on, and if you can read about it, you can read about this what's going on. So in a very nutshell, it is like you are giving an AI or Math Olympiad problem, and your machine learning model has to solve it. That's a very gist of it. If you come down, you can see what metrics they are using. So it's a pretty huge one. So it's a pretty huge metrics they are using, and they're actually having their own judge. They call it judge. Again, like these things may go up of your head if you are not comfortable with these typical machine learning terminologies. Um, so if you do you guys want me to have a quick go here, or you just want me to like roughly explain it in the overview?
So can you explain it like a little bit deep, like how you can go on with the
Okay,
actually?
yeah, okay, how I will go. So what I do are two things. First, again, I will check the timeline. So if it's required, I'm not sure. 5 months to go. It is fairly new. That's 5 months, right? So I will probably enter this in the last 2 months or last third month. I will enter it. So right now, if I go to leaderboard here, the entries are not that much. I mean, okay, the entries are pretty fair, around 500, but still, scores are also pretty good. Okay, so there's some problem with this. Anyway, so I will again join this model, this competition in the last 2 months, because in that way I can check what's happening and what people are already tried and it failed. Because you are a college student, you have other things to do. You can't spend your entire time in this. The best way is to do that. Just come in the discussion section and you will see what are the people they tried. You are things they tried, and it may be successful or it may be failed. These are both cases. And then you come to the code section, and you filter with the public score, and you will check that what method works the best. That right now this method 22.5, it's a pretty recent model, this works the best, right? You can also go with okay, it's a cheating, right? It's a cheat notebook basically. People also cheat here. So in any competition you will find cheaters, so people also cheat here. It's again something. I think this is one is a legit one. Yeah, so this is one is a legit one. You can read this entire solution, what it did, how it comes to entire code logic. So if I have to go to very specific way, then I can see here he's using VLM because he's using 72 billion model. Again, not sure should I explain all these things, but 72 billion is pretty huge to run on a 4G on a normally on a 4 GPUs. That's why he's using VLM to do this, because he's running a 72 billion. It's a pretty huge model to run on local servers. And then fairly loading the LM here, tokenizer here. Some other expression going on. Okay, so so what he's doing basically, he's writing the code. So every math problem, he's writing the code to solve that math problem and then extracting the solution. Right. So when you have this experience of reading this code like that, you will again go to the solution and read what people are doing, and then write your own solution. Or you can easily just edit my copy here. Click on this thing, edit my copy. It will open this on your editor, and just try to see what you can do to improve it. That's a pretty one way, right? Sometimes these notebooks may crash. They may not run, so you have to tweak there, because sometimes there will be environment issues like this. There will be environment issues, so you have to tweak it. But again, like it's up to the manual testing. Is it getting clear? The ideal way is
Yes, sir.
start with the
So
last two or some months. Like if you're really crazy about that. So there was a competition on NeoRips. NeoRips basically a AI conference, a top AI conference. So if you are really crazy about such competitions, only then you start from very beginning to the very end. Otherwise, see what other grandmasters are doing, right? And it will help you actually to get more knowledge. Because if you are into a new competition and you are only using your knowledge and you're not getting to learn more and more what others are doing, their approaches, then it's also like a negative point, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you. Yeah. Okay, pretty much clear. Not that much, but okay, I got the overview.
That's the thing. So it's a very actually it's a very practical exercise. You have to just try it once, right? Just try it once.
Okay.
Open any competition. You have to join it, accept the terms and condition, and again one more thing, you have to come see check their data set. So these file here, this thing represents what the data they have. So right now I see a very simple data they have. Okay, only KBs. Sometimes it goes into GBs. For example, if I'm not wrong, there is a competition going on, financial competition. This one. This competition has a data of uh, 12 GBs, right? And so again, you may not be able to load it on a local computer, right? It's 12 GB, so there's a chance you may not be able to load it at all. So you have to use other softwares like Polars and all to help this thing. And how you get to learn about all of them? Come to the course section. Because normally, I don't think any YouTube introductory course of ML or any other thing teaches Polars or these techniques. So these are the advanced techniques that you have to learn on yourself or just switch to these resources, right?
Okay.
So in this case, the data is pretty small, and you will have an idea what to do. So if you go to reference.csv, it's a train file basically. They call it reference, but sometimes they call it train. And you can see there the column are like you have a question and you have an answer. Again a question and again an answer. And if you go to test CSV file, this is the file where your model is being tested. When you complete your model, it is where you're tested. The problem is something problem, and you have to write a solution to it. And your model will add a solution, not you, your model. And sample submission will have a solution, zero, zero, zeros. Yeah, makes sense, I think. Zero, zero, zero. Yeah. So sometimes, like in this case, they provided their own judge to solve it. Like they provide their own judge here. Other cases like this competition, I don't think they provide judge. Yeah, they have a fair matrix to solve. You can see it is a fair R square matrix. If you learn about linear regression, there they teach about this R square metric. So yeah, that's actually involves some of the fundamentals of machine learning to solve it, and there are tricks that you can exploit these things. For example, R square metrics can be exploited in some ways. So these are the tricks people can try. I, it is cheating, but if it is working, then what's an issue, right?
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
हेलो भैया एक चीज थी मैंने आपकी प्रोफाइल देखी सो यू हैड लाइक have like 800 plus citations on Google Scholar, which is like great for a person who has just started with his career. भैया एक चीज थी कि someone who has just started with machine learning, how should he approach research papers? Like because they are very overwhelming at first. So how should he start, and when should he know that he should start reading it?
Hmm. So okay, let me again assume one thing. Like, so are you in the machine learning field, or you are tried something on the deep learning also, like transformers and all these things? Did you try those things or just in machine learning?
As of now, Bhaiya, I'm just in machine learning, the basic machine learning, which the topics which are covered in the first three courses of
Mhm.
Andrew Young's course.
Yeah. The thing is that the fundamentals of machine learning, right, where you are right now, they looks very obvious when you see from the surface, right? When you see from the surface, when someone teaches you like end to end, then they look pretty obvious, like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. The problem comes in when you go into the papers. The fundamentals of machine learning have the complex maths in them. For example, if I open the I'm not sure, um STD archives. Yeah. No, this is not. This is not. It's the Gaussian flattening. Mhm. No worries. Yeah, this one. So it's a pretty basic one. But if you go to all these things, it's a heavy math actually, and it is just a algorithm. It's a pseudo algorithms. When they derive it, it gets even more crazier. So what I will recommend is, if you are in the fundamental that you are learning right now, I will say avoid the research papers for now. Like if you are, let's say if you are started with the machine learning for 3 months, if you're just 3 months and you completed the first two course, right? I'm not sure what those were. I mean, I also did them in my undergrad, but I may have forget what those were. So the overall gist is try to avoid if you are in the first if you are in the fundamental business, try to avoid in that case, and just try to accept that okay, this works, right? In that position and where you are right now, accept that okay, it works, and see what other concepts are built on top of it. For example, if you know about this paper, then you can actually fairly understand this thing if you know how to build a normal network in PyTorch. Then you can fairly understand this thing. You may not be able to understand what's the math going on. Again, this math is simple, so you can understand that thing. But there will be cases. What I will suggest is, if you are reading something new, there are people like okay, Yannick, yeah, this guy. So he has a YouTube channel, and there actually he explains a lot of his papers. Uh, yeah, exactly. All videos. Yeah, you can see here he explains tons of papers, and I'm pretty sure he also has yeah, like this. So deep learning architecture papers, and there are a lot of them. So there's a highly chance that paper you are reading right now may be presented here. So if you're not able to understand it on your own, just do a quick Google search and get to the video. That's the one thing you can do. That try to avoid reading the entire paper. For example, if I'm reading this paper, I will not read the entire paper in one go. I will not do that. It will. I won't be able to understand it in one go, because the people who are doing this work, they spend months or maybe years in getting this thing done. And I can't be like, okay, I can read this top to bottom in a one go and I will understand everything. It's not gonna happen. What you can do, you can start with the abstract. The first thing, start with the abstract, always read it. It will give you a gist what they are trying to solve. You can say a very nutshell information what the paper is all about, right? So that I can say this paper is all about the parallelization of models. Read the introduction part, background part. You can skip this thing, but if yeah, you can read this thing if you know, again, if you know a bit of deep learning, you can read this thing. And yeah, this is also basically everything that you find interactive, like these diagrams, they are pretty interactive. I can understand what is going on here. Everything that is interactive, read all this part and skim through what are the grade depth. Just skip every grade depth there. What are the math they're using, just skip to it. You don't need to understand what their proof is right now, right now. And when you think that okay, now you have experience, now you know the fundamentals are very strong, then you may try to come back. And again, that will requires to have some knowledge of mathematics again. Maybe if you're in the computer vision, you may need to read some physics. So it depends. The machine learning is a very general field, right? People are taking ideas from every other field and putting it into together in this one picture. So understanding the entire paper is nonsense. You can try to break it in the part and then understand each of this again. Even if you get to understand what this paper is doing, even if you don't understand how they did it, you understand what they did it and what they get. It's actually a it's actually good to know, right? For example, in most of my work, I I go what why they are doing and how they are doing. Rarely when I want to use that thing. If I only want to take their work as a competition or as a benchmark, then I will just skip through those details, and I will understand only what they are doing and what they get. That's it for me. Are you getting it? So, for example, if you're on the fundamentals, you can just take that what they did and what they get, and you can try to skip how they did it or why it is working, because it has a very deep probability and very deep stuff going on there. And when you get comfortable in the maths, again, it will need some higher order of maths. If you get in there comfortable in that, come back to it and try to prove it. Right? That's a one way.
Okay भैया, thanks. भैया एक और चीज थी कि जैसे कि when should a person realize कि अब उसको इतनी इन्फॉर्मेशन आ गई है कि वो खुद कुछ बेसिक ही सही पर रिसर्च पेपर लिख सकता है या फिर एटलीस्ट ट्राई कर सकता है टू स्टार्ट राइटिंग समथिंग.
See, it depends on whether you have problem to solve or not. This is actually a issue with India because what's happening right now is that everyone, even when in the MSR, everyone just trying to publish something, right? Just publish a paper. And this thing is like, um, it's making this research of machine learning very crowded because everyone is publishing something and that work may not have that quality that we are looking for. So you just mentioned that citation, right? So citation is one of the metric that we judge how good our research is performing. So if citations are high for some research, that means it is being used by others a lot, and people are trying to build on top of it, or maybe people are doing something else with it, but they're using it. So if they're using it, that means that research has some value. So doing that valuable research matters more. What I saw usually in the last in the January 2022, no, no 2023, yeah, 2023 of not January, February, sorry, yeah, Feb 2023, I saw the same trend in Google, and the applicants have around 15 papers in undergrad. In undergrad, they have around 15 papers, 17 papers, and they all get rejected. The reason they all get rejected is because their paper are very poor. It is not providing any value. It was clear that you are just trying to write a novel, and it's just not a novel, right? You have first what you have to do is you have to think about it, what you are doing, then think about it, what is the problem here, right? If you have some problem that you can solve, some problem that you think you are solving, or there's a high chance that there will be some person in the world who also thought about that. So you have to read all the academia on that topic. So for example, let's say I am in the okay, very fairly, I am in the text field, text of machine learning field, and I have found some problem. So what I will do, I will try to go online, maybe in the archive. I try to go online and read all the work that previous people built around it. If someone who already solved this thing very well, if they didn't, then there will be something on it. There will be something. There it was. It's we are in 2024. There will be something that what you are facing right now. To use that background, as you can see here, these people they also use the background, right? And it is actually fairly important for your paper. If you don't cover this thing, that means you are just thought of something and started writing. That doesn't make sense. So you have to think of something. It should be valuable again, and then try to look what others did around this problem. Then you will get to know about what tricks they use or what techniques they used, and there may be something else going on there. You get to know about all of that thing, and then try to see if you can improve that, if you can improve on top of that work. So there are many cases where people try to take someone's work and build on top of it, right? That's what that's what also part of my employment. So yeah, I think that is the correct way to go into that research, instead of thinking, okay, and now I'm 20 years old, I can write a paper, right? That's a pretty weak thing to do.
Okay, thank you भैया.
Yeah.
Hello, Bhaiya. Uh, can you tell us about what does a Microsoft researcher does?
Oh.
Basically, what a researcher does.
Mhm. So, like here, there are very diverse teams. Particularly for me, what my team is, it's AI for code. So we generate code generation models. Right? That's what um, task of my team is. Okay, there's chat also. I'm sorry, I completely missed that thing. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. There is chat also. Yeah. So yeah, what I'm saying, yeah. So they're pretty diverse team here, and if you, those teams build on some are infrastructure based team like scaling of the systems, like when you send multiple requests, Some are, if you know about the Microsoft Copilot, they are working on that. So multiple teams are working on different sections. Particularly, what happens usually, you will when you join here, you will get a sort of colleagues to work with, and usually in my case, there are three senior researchers, like those with the PhDs and postdocs, and then your colleague, which might be on your same position, and all of this team, this is the entire team, you are trying to work on a common research problem, and that work is actually pretty crazy because one day you will come with the work that okay it works, and then again then other day like okay it doesn't work. So we do we do like a systematic thing, like one person is trying to get the entire background on that section, what's happening here. Other person is trying to think of what we can do more on top of them, and then together they all are trying to build a one pipeline so that that problem gets solved, right? This is for someone who is in the a kind of a more dev based research work. Dev, but by dev I mean development, right? Real programming based research work. Then there are areas which are purely theoretical, like you have to solve complex mathematical equations and you know axioms to get something. That's a whole different story, and it's even crazier than what we are doing. Yeah, so like we pretty much do everything that I just told in the previous thing. We read through papers, we try to get it work, all the stuff. So pretty much all of that, but we did it very rigorously. Like every day we read around 2 to 3 papers. That's an average for me. And we then in the meetings we talk about what we get. Is it working, not working, and how much better we can do from here. Yeah. And a good thing is in my team we recently got some good results. So yeah, I'm happy today. Yeah.
As a follow-up question, how one may go about if he or she wants to become a researcher, and what he can expect from the industry.
Hmm. Okay, so for actually, I will be very fair. For bachelors, it's pretty hard to do so. Um, understand like that. So if I am an organization, right, and I have to have someone, it's very rare I will hire a undergrad to work on a very specialized problem. Such problems are very specialized problems. You can't be like, okay, I wrote this code and it works. Why it works, you have no idea. This can't be the case. So that's why it gets a very rare to to get an as an undergrad to get to these roles. That's why. What I would suggest is if you have interest in this thing, if you have interest in this thing, you have to commit more and more personal time for yourself. Um, try to there are some open source organizations, for example, Big Code and Big Code. Okay, let me. I will. Should I send you the links also? Is there a way to send the links here? I'm not sure.
जी भैया कर सकते हैं।
This one and go here for AI. See for AI. Yeah, these people and what left? Computer, computer AI. These people. Yeah. How can I? Okay, in the chat section actually, right? Actually, Big Code is where from I started. Right? I started with the Big Code, and from there, the two papers, Star Coder and the Octopack, those got pretty much of people's attention, and that also lead to me in the Microsoft. Um, yeah, so you can join any of these projects. You have to just go to their websites, fill up a form maybe, and they will give you the Slack link. For example, to come here about the project, and I think how to join. Yeah, so you can see the form, apply here. Yeah, just fill on top of it. Then they will mail you their Slack link. Go to the channel, and maybe I can also show that. Yeah, be good. Like, I'm not allowed to do this, but anyways. Oh, great! I have to log in here. That is why I have to log in here. I think okay, it's maybe on my laptop. Yeah, here I can log in. Um, but I think I can I share this screen? Mhm. I hate macOS. Yep. Is this coming? People?
हाँ भैया आ
Yes,
रहा
we
है।
can see.
Yeah. So this is the download when you join the big code, you get something like that, and all these channels basically. Yeah, these are also the people who develop code generation models like I do. These channels, these are the project basically going on. So you can join any channel or all channels, go through what's happening, and every channel has a meeting going on. For example, if you come to this thing, it's a pretty recent one going on. They do weekly meetings basically. You can join their meetings, try to understand what they are doing actually. It's totally okay to join their meeting and stay silent. No one's going to push you to come and speak. You can introduce yourself in the group and join that meet. Try to understand what they are doing, and I will say try to ask less help. Don't be like don't be like someone to spoon feed you. If you do that, people tend to ignore you in these cases because they are working on open source. They are not getting paid by that. They're doing research openly. Thing is, this group has a very impactful history, and they did some crazy research work in the back. So if you manage to contribute with them on their work, your reputation will be pretty much higher in the other world, in the outside world basically. And it's actually easier to do so. You may think that okay, it may require a lot of knowledge, but you can just join this any channel, try to see what they are doing. You can also ping people like I'm this and this. I have such experience. I want to contribute here. They will actually guide you on what tasks you can work on. They'll specifically give you some tasks to work on. There's few things to remember. They do not expect that you complete it. It's an open source thing, though they do not expect you to complete it. So expectations will be low, and they also don't be like too cocky that explain me everything and spoon feed me. It will again trigger them. So try to do stuff, understand the stuff, and do on your own. Give them results. Even if you get some problems, tell them at least. And in that way, you may be able to contribute on their work. And then when they publish their paper, they'll have your name. You have your name as an author there. So that's the one way to do it, and it's fairly easy. I will say if you have some experience on reading the paper and all these things. So that's a one way you can start with. Um, and I think joining these organizations is the easier way. For example, this Cohere for AI. Okay, I have sharing the other screen. This Cohere for AI team basically. Um, they're also producing some nice research work these days that you can join, and it's again it's properly open source. You don't have to like commit anything to them, that any kind of commitment that I will only work for you or such kind of things. Like this team, they're also giving very good such people right now, and multiple people come together from the entire world and they contribute to that work. And when it gets trending, it usually gets trending. There some lot of people are working on a project, so it usually gets trending. Though you will get a good personality raise basically. That's a good way, right? And one things to notice that where your interest lies. For example, if your interest is in the general machine learning, go for the Cohere one. If you want like what I do, AI for code, go with the big code project. And again, Eleuther AI is for basic LM understandings. So yeah, you have to find your own area what you like then proceed accordingly. I hope it makes sense. Let me open chat here. Why did you choose this
Good, e-
field? Uh, yeah, anyone?
Good evening, Bhaiya. I just wanted to ask, as I'm still exploring machine learning, but
Hmm.
as far as I've seen, Google mainly focuses on like foundational research. Like for example, when we talk about things like neural networks, whereas Microsoft is more into applied and practical research. So it's more like it integrates a lot of its innovations into, like for example, GitHub Copilot, Office,
Hmm.
Azure, like its own products. So when you are talking about code generation research using AI, which of these tools does Microsoft plan to incorporate your research next? In which of those products?
Okay, so see, the thing happened like that. If I specifically talk about the Google India, then Google India majority focuses on the AI and social cultures, right? The what you are talking about is that part is most majority of that part was done by the DeepMind, but Google India, I was there earlier and I talked to some of the researchers. They mostly focus on the social, we Indians have a lot of social issues. So that's social things and how they can solve with the help of AI. Sometimes like helping the small communities and all these things. And yeah, you're right. Microsoft specifically focus on their applied stuff. Talking particularly about my project, it won't be integrated to any project, any other project basically. And what we are doing is we are trying to improve all the models in general, like improve, like have an impact that improve everything, not only for the Microsoft. But other than that, there are teams who are specifically working on the product. If you heard about it, there was a news recently that Copilot was getting updated, and this internal team is pushing some changes to there. So that's a pretty big thing. So yeah, I mean, it again depends. Like as I said, Google India especially focus on these socials and AI mixture. In Microsoft, you find more diversity. That I can say that what you want to work on is a high chance there will be a team there, and that team will be already working on that. For example, in my case, what happened that there was a paper I did in my undergrad called Octopack, and it turns out that the team I am in right now, they are using that paper, that research work, and building on top of it. So that's why I got a very easy way because I was the author of that paper. Got a very easy way to hop in there, right? Um, why did I choose this field? Yeah, I actually in my first year I actually started with the web development. Yeah, I started with the web development, and then I used course, and then I switched to machine learning because of this thing. It used to happen that time basically, and it stopped. So yeah, this was a challenge from Kaggle. That was a challenge. What happened in that is in the 15 days they used to teach you. They provide some, okay, not here, maybe somewhere else. They provide some material to teach you for 15 days, and the next 15 days you have to compete globally with the learners or with the anyone is there. So I also participated in the challenge on my second year, and I got the globally 0.3% of the people on the global level. So that kind of gave me a morale boost that I can do good in this field. So I switched to here. That's the one reason. Other reason is Iron Man. If you saw the movies.
Yeah, I also had one more question regarding your research. you were saying that we will use AI to generate code. So, for
Mhm.
example, most of these programming languages, like for example Java or C plus plus, they change with time. So they are dynamic. So will your AI model be able to adapt to that change continuously? Like for example, earlier when we used to code on Java, we had to use main again and again, but now that is gone. So do you have to make those changes in your code, or does the AI itself understand that it has been changed and modify itself?
Okay, so again, it's this thing. So if there are change in that language, right? I'm going to tell you the entire pipeline how it works. If there's a change in that programming language, let's say C++, then to C++ 20, then people are going to use it, right? And they are going to use it, and
Yes.
they will write the massive codes on the GitHub. We took we took their codes from the GitHub, and we trained it on top of it. As simple as it sounds. We don't have to manually change anything at all. The
So for
people, the
example,
users, yeah.
mostly whenever we are making an AI platform, like let's say chat GPT or something, we need large sources of data. So is Microsoft planning to take that data from its existing apps? Like for example, Microsoft has a lot of apps, like for example, let's say Microsoft Edge, which is Microsoft browser, and GitHub Copilot. So whatever data we as users use, is our data going to be taken from these apps and be used in this AI that you are going to develop?
I mean, see, fairly often there are cases where people mention that they don't use it, but it turns out when you query that model, you'll find that it knows. So there always there might be some leakage there. So it's not 100% guaranteed to say that they don't use. There will be cases, maybe some spilling or anything at all. But yeah, if any cases your data is on the platform that specifically says it public. For example, GitHub, you have their public repositories. In that case, obviously they will use it. There's no chance. And there was a very recent tweet, I think, that says the chat GPT also has the knowledge of a private repository that was private from the very beginning it was developing, but it knows about that. So obviously, whatever data it is, they are using it, right? Ultimately, it's their platform. Can I notice it happen? I think it stopped basically. It has stopped, but I do remember something. I have this. Yeah, this thing. So, um, yeah, this was a roadmap basically I made for the 2023 batch. No, 5 batch. 25 batch, and here you can see these links. I can share this thing here. You can see right now these things won't happen anymore. But if you want to practice, it's a good thing to practice. You can just go through it, learn from here. These are learning sources. You can learn from there, and after 30 days, you will compete. Right? There will be a tableau playground series where you compete. So it's a good way to assess yourself by your way. Officially, they don't happen anymore, right? And you can read all of these things. It's a. I will suggest if you follow these things, then I will highly suggest you to do this. It will give you a very good gist of what Kaggle is actually, like everything from scratch, and how to work on top of it, and how to actually participate in a very simple competition. So won't happen anymore, but yeah, for personal learning, you can do that. It will always help, right? Uh, yeah.
भैया मैंने आपका गिटहब देखा तो आपका गिटहब काफ़ी अच्छा है और उस पे कमेंट्स भी डिलीट होते हैं तो उसको मेंटेन कैसे करें और ओपन सोर्स में एक्टिवली कंट्रीब्यूट कैसे करें और अगर उससे कोई अपॉर्चुनिटी हमें मिलती है तो उसके लिए भी
Yeah. So there are two things which usually people do. What I did was, I was a student, right? So what I preferred is to make your own solid projects, get popular, get them popular, obviously. And let me get here. Oh, we cost 3 stars. Nice. Yeah. So there are two approaches you can do. For example, if you're a student, right, if you're learning, and if you have, let's say, you don't have more of a what you can say, the world experience, exposure basically, then the best thing to do is whatever you're learning, build on top of it and try to push it here, and then you can share those things. That's a one way to build your GitHub. Other thing is like for example, if you see these projects, they are really highly advanced ones, and they also require that advanced level of knowledge. But the benefit is once you make them from your end and you push them out, they get a very high exposure from public, and people want to use them. So the benefit of our yours is that it was entirely yours. You are not using anyone else's code, or you're not editing anyone else's code. You are building from on yourself, pretty in scratch. So that gives you a good boost to your profile, basically. That this girl, she's doing everything on its own. It's a good, pretty good. I mean, exposure in my case also. So that's the one thing that you can do. If you know what you're doing, you can build your own solid projects, solve different cool problems, and try to push them here. Nothing harm in that. It eventually will help you, right? That's a one thing to do. So other thing what you can do is, let's say you use, for example, I used Hugging Face. If you know Hugging Face, it's a it's a it's a place for machine learning. Everything about machine learning. It's a place. So I use Hugging Face a lot, and can I show you here? Yeah, I also contribute to there. So because I'm using their tools a lot, I know what their tool is doing. So if I know what their tool is doing, I can find where the flaws are and how I can fix it. So this is basically the Hugging Face repository. And one way to do this is go to the bug section. That what used to I used to prefer, and you can search with the uh, yeah, that's where I do. Do we have any more? Nope. Anyways. Mm, question answering. FP. Yeah, we can. I'm not sure. Good. Yeah, so there are two issues going on right now, which have good first ones. So again, such contributions require you to have the familiarity with this project. If you are using the project, or if you are having any kind of internal knowledge of what it is doing, then you can go ahead. It's also it's right now it maybe sound like, okay, it's a very complex thing, but eventually when you have the experience, it will be easy. So all you need to do is try to any tool you are using, try to use it, try to understand what it is doing, how it is doing, and it will be very easy for you, very fairly easy for you to ultimately contribute to it. It's pretty easy. And these are some, usually people mark those issues that it's a easy one here. You can go to them, see what they are doing. I think it is already no, there's no PR here. Yeah, so it's open right now. So, so you can look at it and make a PR here. People are very happy to do so, to help you, by the way. So that's the one thing. What I will recommend is to start with the first approach, because you are not sure right now. You are not sure um, whether this is going to work, and you need more experience. So I would suggest you to first build on your own, like, because what happened in that way, when you build on your own, you will use these tools, right? You may use PyTorch, you may use Hugging Face, you may use anything else. You will use these tools to build your own project, and when you use them, you get experience. And in that experience, you may find out, okay, there's a bug. For example, uh, in the Microsoft, when I was doing a fine tuning of a model, then I find out major bugs in the Hugging Face code. So I because I was using that thing, I found a bug there. So I immediately went and raised an issue, and I filed a PR. See, it's so simple. So again, start with the first approach, build your own, use as much as you can, and understand what they're doing. And then it will be fairly easy for you to make contributions. That's a one way to do so. And these organizations, they also have their internal Discord or Slack channels. You can raise your I so if you know about NumPy, I'm not sure if you know about NumPy. So NumPy has their fairly internal channel, and they are a group led by some old people. So they are old traditional people, and it's pretty hard to to tell them that you want a change because they have a traditional thinking, so they are very strict for the new changes. But again, those areas will also help when you get to know what an experienced maintainer thinks, what an experience how a maintainer behaves when he understands what your issue is and what you want to do. So all this process also helps, even if it not get accepted, but that thing also helps, right? In my case, it's helped a lot. Some of my PRs are like, we don't want to do this here, but we do can do this here. So understanding that tweaks will give you, it's a much better experience for you. Basically, engage as much as you can. That's the thing. Oh, yeah. Okay. You can. Okay, so as for a roadmap, you can use this one. It's still work actually. So the thing is like, is it already? Yeah. So this is something I developed for the 2025 batch. Some people were interested in that, and you can use this document. I think I shared it in the link. Yeah, I just pinned that link here, so you can just save it or whatever. The first thing in that roadmap will tell you what AI is. Right? This is a fairly not logical. It's just a lecture based course. Will you understand what we actually do in AI, what we can't do in AI, where we use AI and where we don't use AI. Like because right now you see AI everywhere. That's not that's not the case. So it's a very fairly short one also. I think you can complete it in only 2 or 3 days. That's a pretty short one. And you don't have to even make notes, just understand what the person is saying. So it's a talkative portion. And then go to the Python and you have to complete at least here. That's a minimum gateway. I'm not taking the names because many people will be fairly new here, so they don't know. That's I'm just highlighting it. So you just complete that as this section and where to learn from it. I personally learned from here this thing. Uh, this is what I used to learn from it. Wow, pretty cheap. So this is what I used to learn Python in my second year, and frankly saying, that was the only course I paid for. I never paid for any course again. So you can either use this one or any of your place where you can learn Python at least till these concepts, at least till these concepts, right? And it's a pretty huge course, around 100 days, 100 lectures. So you can skip these parts. They are not suited to machine learning, so you can skip these things. The other optional tools like some using your terminal for GitHub and all these things. You can learn it or you can come back and learn later. Anyway works. Then some basic mathematics, linear algebra, single variable calculus, multivariable, and your probability and statistics. They are the free lectures. So you can go through them. As you can see, there's a free lectures. You can go through them, try to make notes, understand what's going on here. Because ultimately math will be needed. You can't do without math. So you can use follow these things. It may take you around I think around 3 to 4 months, maybe 3 months. Like if you do two courses entirely, then maybe 2 to 3 months you can. Yeah. And then you can finally switch to the machine learning with this. I'm As you are saying, I'm hoping that majority of you already completed this part here. So if you found any gap in your knowledge, maybe if you are in here this part, that what I'm hearing right now from this meet, and you found any gap in your knowledge, there's a maybe high chance that reading through this may fix it. It's a very high chance. So yeah, if you found any gap, like you studied that topic and you don't get to know what it's doing, just try to go through these things and maybe they will help. You eventually get to understand, right? Otherwise, this will be your first official machine learning course. and you can get it to free. I think, uh, yeah, you can get it to free. You can just audit it. Sorry, yeah, you can audit it, and then after this course, you will go into the practical part where you again the 30 days of travel challenge. You learn for 15 days. See, that's the thing. This course is pretty theoretical. It teaches about the theory of machine learning, right? How to do things from scratch. And this here, where you learn to do things on practical, you are literally using your keyboard to solve those things. And this way, for 15 days, you will learn what is doing everyday tutorial, whatever. And then for the last 15 days, you will complete. And yeah, so you can either use this notebooks, or you can just follow this grandmaster's playlist. He also explain the same thing, and sometimes he also teach you a trick. So I will recommend this playlist. I remember when I was solving that competition, there are multiple tricks he told you. So those tricks will be also useful. So you can go through this part rather than this thing. And yeah, and then come in the bottom part. You can compete. Competing is very simple. Come to competitions, and in that you will see uh, there will be some tabular going on here. Mm, Yeah, it's this one. So and anything which is ongoing, anything you see that's ongoing, you can jump to any of them and start using your knowledge. Whatever you learned in this previous 15 days, use your knowledge and try to solve it. That's a unfair way to do so. Is it making sense to you? Or if you have any doubt, just please unmute yourself and ask, right? And in the last, you will do the deep learning part. Till here, we never went to deep learning. And in this part, you also learn to deep learning, what neural networks actually are, how to build them, transformers, and all these major big things. This is a complete map for at least get you in a place where after that you can read papers basically. If you complete till here, I will fairly assume you can read a paper pretty easily. That's the one thing. And you will be fairly able to make your own projects. That's the thing. Is it making sense to you? To all people? Yeah,
Yes,
people
sir.
chat पढ़नी पड़ेगी, yeah. Okay. Nice. So it's talking about the timeline. It may take you around 6 months. Like if you are fairly beginner, it may take you around 6 months to do so. And I think that's fine. Like what audience do we have right now? It's first year, second year, third year. What we have right now?
Also,
All fourth year, yeah.
not for
Yeah.
first, second,
So
third.
for first, I would say for first, second year, you have a lot of time, right? I wasted my first year in development. You shouldn't. So you have a lot of time. You can just go through it. I am saying 6 months because I'm assuming you are a complete beginner. If you have some kind of uh, past experience, you may be able to do it in 3 months or maybe in 4 months, right? If you have a lot of time and past experience, you can do it easy way out. Thing is, the only thing you have to focus on is your mindset. Your mindset should not be like, I want to get a machine learning job, right? Don't keep this mindset, because if your final goal will be to just have a job, and when you get that job, I see here people are pretty average. So just try to not stick to this average zone. Try to stand out. Don't have a goal. I'm talking about the first and second year. Don't have a goal that I just want to learn enough that I get a job. Just start a mindset that there was a person, like let's say um any person that you want to compete with. Take that person and try to beat him. Try to beat him, right? Just work your way hard and try to beat him. It may take you years, and but when you stop and then you look around yourself, you will see that all the other people that competing with you are far behind. So the mindset matters here. So just keep it healthy. And yeah, for third year, I will say anyways, you guys have to do it in 3 months. You can't be like 6 or 7 months. Right? You can't. If you are in machine learning, then you can't be like 7 or 8 months. You have to do in 3 months, and then just start build and build stuff. Try to get in public, build stuff more, sell your things, right? Get popularized. That's a very simple thing. Oh, about 6 months, you should math it to 3 months. It's again, it depends on your speed, right? So, uh, mathematical lecture, I think, is the only place where you get a bit of hardship to do. All the other places, somebody is teaching you, right? And so, and somebody teaching you in a very simple manner. Shouldn't take you around. That's what I'm saying. If maths is taking 2 to 3 months, the complete rest will also take 2 to 3 months. I mean, it's okay. Like if it takes more than 6 months, if you are in the first second year. Otherwise, you have to do it, man. You have to do something. You can't be like everything will be done on its own. Yeah. So cool, everyone.
Bhaiya, I wanted to ask about your project. So you said that you were going to use AI in code generation. So what exactly will that project do? Will it help in debugging? Will it help in optimization? Or will it help in full project management?
I actually can't. I can't expose this. I'm leading that project, so right now I can't expose it. But all I can say it will. If so, if you want to get a bit of hints, you can you can join my Twitter. That's where you can maybe get a small hints. But in a very general way, it's going to if it works out, which it will, then again it will be my fourth crazy paper. Yeah, the first two were already crazy. It will be the fourth crazy paper. I can't say the entire work right now because contracts, NDAs.
Bhaiya, can we find your research papers on Google Scholar?
Hmm. Hmm. Uh, mm, so this is my website. This is my website, and here in the publication section, you can find all the papers here. Right, first two papers. Or if you want to do, you can just go to Google Scholar. This icon, no, this icon. Click on this icon, and there you it is. Yeah, there you also get the papers there. Wow, it's 812. Going pretty good right now. Right, so these are the ways. Is it fine? Just give me one more minute. Right? It's my mother's calling. Yeah, guys. Anything else? Okay. Tell me one thing. Did you talk to your professors? I think they also are looking for someone to write papers. And in my time, they were. I refused because I was working with these people. But is it happening right now or not?
Yes, sir. Professor Prabhat Chandra Srivastav sir has made a group.
Uh, okay. Prabhat, he's in this faculty, right? Or I'm not sure. Maybe. Okay. So he's making a group and he wanted to work on the papers, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hmm. I mean, see, if the professor is helping you, then I think it will be a good learning experience. The experience will be a bit steep. It won't be like you are learning things and being happy. That will be a pretty rare thing. Um, but yeah, I would say if that's the case, then do give it a shot, man. Do it a shot. Try it. If you need any help from the academia part, just ping me anywhere. Um, but yeah, if he's giving some efforts, you can also try. Maybe you get one out before your graduation. That will be a very big thing. So yeah, if that's a thing, then definitely do it. Um, cool. Anybody? Do we have something else to do?
भैया कोई आपका रिसेंट रिसर्च पेपर के बारे में कोई ब्रीफ लाइक रिसेंट जिस रिसर्च पे आपने काम किया हो या फिर
Recent one.
जिस पे लाइक यू कैन फ्लेक्स अपॉन जो आपको सबसे
Everything.
फेवरेट हो?
Everything.
ओके।
Just go to my GitHub. So yeah, the recent one is will be um okay. How good are you in C++? Do you have any knowledge about C++ system, or we are talking
No,
about
no,
machine
no,
learning?
no, no, I'm not good.
Only machine learning.
Like I'm
Okay.
good with Python.
Yeah, for Python, I did one project earlier. It's not recent because right now I'm completely switched to this lower languages. This what? It's a pretty cool name actually, Mira. So what it does basically, you just pass a single image, single 2D. Okay, I see. Visible now? So you just pass a
Yeah, yeah.
2D image and it gives you a complete 3D object or video, anything. Can use in a video games or you can just give it a prompt and it will give you 3D objects. So that's one of my recent work. It's a pretty big one, and the novelty, or by novelty I mean like uniqueness. The uniqueness is that the other projects in the same area, which are already available right now, they took this process, like taking a 2D image to 3D object. They took this process around 3 hours. At least it's if you want more fine details, it will take around 33 hours, right? But a lot of time will be taken from going from here to here, right? And in this pipeline, it takes only 5 seconds. So that is the uniqueness of this project. Yeah.
So
Right.
like your clothing one, is it also in C++ or in Python?
The crossing man, no, that's on Python completely. It's a pretty old one. I think it's been 2 years, and there's a very good history involved with it. Um, so I hope you all know about it. If you're not, the thing is,
Yeah,
we
I've
are
seen
doing
it.
the
I've
we are
seen it.
doing the most.
I have seen it. Even
Yeah.
tried
So,
it.
so what we are doing basically, so what we are doing is, so there's a lady here. She's wearing something else, and we want her to wear this cloth, right? We want. So with this project, you can do so, and it will look pretty realistic. Yeah, here you can see. Right, so we just changed the clothes of a person, and it went really trending because some of the European VCs wanted to finance this product. They want to invest on top of it so that they can build it on a large scale and use it on their e-commerce web shops like Amazon or other web shops. So yeah, that project actually took a very great amount of publicity feedback. But it's a very complex one. Um, it took me around 6 weeks, so around 1.5 month to build it completely. But yeah, again, and no development is going right now. For now, I'm never going through any future updates because I'm busy. That's why, right?
ओके ओके। भैया और एक चीज़ पूछनी थी लाइक
हाँ
जैसे
जी।
अभी मैं एआई एमएल के रिगार्डिंग पढ़ रहा हूँ बट इट्स काइंड ऑफ बोरिंग टू लाइक जस्ट पढ़ते रहना। सो कैन देयर इज समथिंग टू प्रैक्टिस ऑन एंड एनीथिंग एल्स लाइक दैट बिकॉज प्रोजेक्ट बनाने के लिए जस्ट दैट फाउंडेशन इज नॉट इनफ।
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. So, if you're going through, look, let me be frank. If you're going to the Andrew ML course, right, then if he's implementing all the algorithms from scratch, and that course, let me tell you, that course will help you in all your future interviews. I've seen very rarely that some machine learning interview, people are asking stuff that is not covered there, right? Most of whatever the people ask you in any machine learning interview will be covered in that project. So take it like that mindset, that this course, what I'm learning right now, it has all the theories, all the implementations from scratch using NumPy. It will actually going to help you when you apply for some job, right? It may not help you right now, right? Not building some real life project, but when you are sitting in the interview and that interview will ask you how you can implement this, how to do this, then that course will be highly helpful. Personally, when I was in college, uh, for if you know about tower research, it's a So
Yeah, yeah, I know about it.
yeah, HFT. Yeah,
Applied it and rejected, got rejected.
they actually ask the hardest questions in your MNCs or whatever, right? But in their case also, they rarely went something that is not covered in that course, right? They will stick to it. They'll ask it deeply, like they will ask you to write the equations on the board and just try to derive it, maybe try to implement it. But it won't be something that you didn't read in that course. So that's a plus point. Almost everything was covered there, and they just have to take that course like that. And when you are like, okay, you want to build something, you have to put some extra efforts, and that is why I was putting this Kaggle thing here. This Kaggle thing, whatever, where it goes, where it was. So that Kaggle thing will help you how to use already available tools and build something for like industry base maybe or for the public. Otherwise, in this course also, which is again paid, but yeah, it's a one-time investment, so pretty cheap. Then this course also it is of 100 days, so you will build 100 projects. That's also pretty cool. Um, yeah. So I think that yeah, I think that is the case. So if you want to come out and you want to build for something that's huge, complex, and people admire, you need to have experience of all these things. You need to start with something small, right? And then accumulate on top of it, and maybe get to a bigger one. Right? That experience will be needed there. I can't be like, okay, I will just open up a YouTube and I will see, okay, how to, web developers,
Oh,
right?
yes, sir. Even I recently made a project. You commented on that also, but that was on like
Yeah. I remember. Yeah. That was actually a nice idea. Yeah.
so. But that was not that much complex. I used like different APIs and all
Yeah, I
that.
know. I know.
Yeah.
But it's actually the concept of nice actually. So when I was in Scalar, we were having the internal hackathon. I remember that day because the next morning it was my ensign, and in the 2 a.m. of night we are doing the hackathon. So what we made was the is it available on my website? I'm not sure. We made something called interview with AI. AI interview. Forgot the name. College interview internship. Nah, it's not here. Yeah. So that time we made something like there will be a Shah Rukh Khan or Amitabh Bachchan in their own voice taking your interview. You just pass your job description to them, right? The AI or ChatGPT or Gemini will analyze the job description and configure and develop some questions to you in the real time, basically. And you code it. It's like a real time interview happening. You code it. You speak your answers. Then you code a solution, and then Sarkhan on top of them, whoever in that persona, they analyze your project and anything like that as well. But actually, we won. So yeah,
One more
that's
thing to flex.
yeah. One more thing to flex. Yeah, I don't have actually. I'm not sure where I left that thing. I have to find out. It's actually very cool. I have to find out where that video is. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Got it, check here.
So guys, anything else? Mm, check out. Yeah. So for that part, I will say, I mean, it's fairly common. It's very common right now. So if I give you a very example that what I saw when I was in Scalar, I was taking some interviews there. So what people try to do, they have either very basic implementation that covered in the course somewhere, or something from a YouTube tutorial, right? Or something even very basic things. For example, if I come into the Kaggle thing and where it was, where it is, this thing, this Titanic and house prices, they are very common stuff, and people actually put them in their resume that they build these things. So ultimately, I will discard it, and maybe somewhere other they also discarded it. So don't what the gist is, don't stick to like average. As I said earlier, don't stick to this average group. The best you can do is have a have an idea on your own, right? Have an idea on your own, build scratch on top of it. You may have to do some research that what how if this is your problem, how someone else would have solved it, and there would definitely be a person solved it. So do a quick online search on your idea. You get lots of code, maybe implementations, maybe some people who are not solving anything. There is this happened in my case when I was in back on my other internship. There was a project idea that wasn't solved at all. So have your ideas, try to look around them, and then check what knowledge you need to build them. For example, if I tell you about this clothing project, right? That clothing project, I was in my mid of second year. So pretty obvious I had way less experience in deep learning actually. But still we managed to build this up in my second year. And the reason is because we went to online, we searched for all the papers and Amazon something who did a work on top of it. We read all the implementations, what other people are doing, how they are solving this approach, and then we accumulate all the ideas and we build this thing. So a very similar part you can do. Have your own unique idea, right? Understand what other people are doing, and then take insights from all of them and make something else. That way, you can actually pinpoint the uniqueness, the novelty of your doing, and that stand out in the resume, right? If you just give me that I made a cat and dog classifier which can do 99% accuracy of time, so I reject it, right? Obviously not. So have something unique and optimized, best. We love it. Yeah, I hope you're getting what I'm trying to say, right? Yeah. There are. I'm sorry to say that, but there are no C++ for beginners. C++ for beginners never exist. So uh, um, right now, when I left my college, then I'm doing open source contribution in C++. Otherwise, I didn't touch it back then. I will say, projects. See, the things gets here. Like, you will again, yeah, you will be building some pretty common ones, like some data structures implementations. You will be doing that, or again, that also requires a lot of high precise experience. See, I can tell you, but the thing is, just try to avoid for undergrad, right? Just try to avoid it. See, it can consume a lot of time. It can break in a lot of ways, unimaginable ways. And other thing is, small contributions have no respect in the outside world. That's a fair point. Small C++ implementations have no respect outside world. So instead, try to do something impactful. That's what I'm trying to say. Otherwise, projects for are there, implementations of LRUs like these data structures and making some management systems, all this stuff. You can do that, but they won't get some crazy hype, right? What get crazy hype is building a shell, building a kernel, building an operating system, schedulers. These are complex topics, but they actually stand out and they give you pretty much of hype in this online world. Yeah, ma'am. Let us say just avoid it for being undergrad. It will help. Oof. So, guys, do you have anything else? Um, Let me know if you have anything else. I also have to catch up another meeting in 10 minutes. So, if you have anything in between, then you can do it.
I had a question. When you are writing research papers, then which body checks for plagiarism? So how do you undergo plagiarism check? So exactly how much time does it take, and how what parameters do they take into consideration to check whether you are plagiarizing your content or not?
That only happens in college schools. It never happens in the actual world. We don't check for it. And the reason we don't check for it is because that check is not 100% trustable, right? There are cases where these platforms will give you a bad result. For example, they will give you this is plagiarized, even if it is not, or even if it is plagiarized, it will give it's not, right? There are both cases happen. So in the actual research area, we don't trust on this metric and we avoid it. We particularly focus on what the value you are outputting, and how trust we can do that in your value. That's what I focus on in the practical aspect. There you will see some cases where the regulations are like you can't use it, but nobody's going to check that. And we actually want, I mean, see, the real effort is to set the entire research work and make that thing happening. That's the real effort. So usually people accept that if you write your words or language with AI, it's totally okay, right? In college, people may, I mean, the professor might check you. And for example, in my time, my lab file, it was 98% AI written. Yeah. So yeah, there people check it, but otherwise in the outside world, nobody checks for that. It is not a trustable metric, right? I hope it makes sense.
So, Bhaiya, when you said that sometimes it happens that you cannot use that research, so can you provide citations? For example, if I am writing my own paper, I provide your research citations in my paper?
Yeah, you can see. So how it happens? Like if you go to store coder or sorry, so this is my paper, right? First on Google, by the way, Flex. So this is my paper, and if you come to the what happens here, good citation. This is the part. Just copy it and put it on your paper, and I will get notified that someone has cited my paper. Right? That's how you do it. So for example, if I open some paper, let's say I open this paper itself, and I come in the very end of it, not very end basically. Yeah, here. So you can see all these things. Basically, this is called the reference section. Yeah, references. So this is also called a citation, right? Just put it there. It's also work. And as you do it, the internal of archive scans through all of that and notifies the individual person that you are getting a one citation or two citation, whatever. Right. So both it works. You can do this thing, or you can just come to here, copy the big text, and just copy it entire thing. Right. Both works.
भैया आप शायद डाउट सब खत्म हो चुके हैं तो
Yes. Cool then.
आपके सेशन के लिए थैंक यू, आपने अपना टाइम निकाल के हमें अपना टाइम दिया.
अरे कोई नहीं बच्चों. ठीक है everyone. Keep your mindset strong and yeah, all the best.
Thank you, Vaya, for all this.